Hello everyone. Today we will talk about variables. So before going into the details of variables, let me explain the initial purpose of computers. The initial purpose of computers was to do fast processing and fast calculations that humans may take hours, days, and even months to do the same. It's a human nature that whenever we are going to do some calculations, we have certain numbers in our mind, and then we have to add these numbers, subtract, or do certain type of arithmetics. Similarly is the case in terms of computers. We have to store these numbers in the memory location, just like we have certain numbers in our mind, we have the same numbers in the computer memory locations. In order to do the calculations or arithmetic, these numbers have to retrieve out of these memory locations and then arithmetics can be done. To retrieve the numbers out of this computer memory, the easy way is to name these memory locations like it's shown here. The first memory location is named as A, second memory location is named as V, third is C, and so on. So whenever we are going to do some calculations, like if we want to do addition between 3 and 5, so instead of writing 3 plus 5, we will write A plus V. So it's an easy way that we can access these numbers and we can use them in any mathematical expressions. So any mathematical expressions like A plus B multiply with C, this is one of the examples. So automatically their values stored in these memory locations will be retrieved and will be used in the calculations. So variables are like small blackboards. We can write a number on them, we can change the number, we can erase the numbers. C++ variables are the names for memory locations. And these memory locations, we can write a value on them, we can change the value stored there, but we cannot erase the memory locations. Some value is always there. Identifiers. Variable names are called identifiers. Now come towards what type of variables names we can choose. We have to choose such variable names that have some meanings. So we have to use meaningful names that represent data to be stored. The first character must be a letter or the underscore character. Remaining characters can be letters, numbers, or underscore characters. C++ is a case-sensitive language. Work here with first letter as capital is not same as work with first letter as small. Identifiers should be descriptive. Use meaningful identifiers is a good programming practice. A good name for your variable is important. This is an example in which we have some variable names like A, B, and D. These are not good names. Why? Because they do not tell us any purpose of declaring such variable names. By looking at these variable names, we cannot understand what is the purpose of these variables. On the other hand, if we talk about this example, here the variable names are start time, number, students, course, mark. By looking at these variable names, we can understand the purpose of these variables. Like its name indicates that it is the variable which is going to store the time, start time value. Number students, it means that it's going to store the number of students. Course mark, it's going to save the marks of the course. So it's a bit better as compared to this one. Keywords are also called reserved words. These are used by the C++ language. Must be used as they are defined in the programming language. So there are certain keywords we have to use as it's defined in the programming language. We cannot change these keywords. These keywords cannot be used as variables or identifiers. These are just some of examples of C++ keywords, and these keywords cannot be used as the variable names. These keywords have a specific purpose and can be used in our program for that purpose only. Variables and its declaration. Variable is a memory address where data can be stored and changed. What about declaration? So declaring a variable means we have to specify both its name and its data type. So name is very clear in the previous example that we have given certain names to the variables. But what type of data these variables are going to be stored, we have to also specify this thing in the declaration. What does a declaration do? Declaration tells the compiler to allocate enough memory to hold a value of this data type and to associate the identifier with this location. These are the examples of a variable declaration. Here we specified that this is the name of the variable, and we also specify what will be the type of this variable. So basically, when we when we declare it as int age of dog, so it's going to reserve some memory, allocate some memory for this variable, and this number of bytes that are reserved for this variable depends on the type of the data used. So for integer, 4 bytes have been reserved. For character variable, 1 byte have been reserved. And for float, 4 bytes have been reserved. Before use, variables must be declared. It tells the compiler the type of data to store. For example, you can see that you have these variables, and we specify that the first variable is of integer type, and the second and the third variable both are double type. So if we have more than one variable of the same data type, we can write them and we can separate them by comma, or we can also write them in separate statements, like we can write here double one weight semicolon and then double total weight semicolon. But instead of writing it multiple statements, we can write in a single statement. Int is an abbreviation for integer, and it can store the numbers like this. Number of items is of type integer. This is a double data type, and it's represent the numbers with a fractional component. It could store these numbers where we have some fractions in them. One weight and the total weight, both are of type double. For variable declaration, there can be two locations. This is an example in which we have shown that variables are declared just prior to use. So these dot shows that there are some part of the program, or we have some C++ statements over here. So here at this C++ statement, we have used score1 and score2, and we are going to add them and assign to sum. So before using this sum variable, we have just declared it just immediately prior to its use. In the second example, we can declare these variables at the beginning. So in the beginning, we declare all the variables, and these are the remaining part of the program. And then we have used these variables in some in our program. So both the examples are correct. Just to we have to remember that we have to declare them before use. We cannot write like sum equal to score1 plus score2, and after these statements we are going to declare int sum. This will be incorrect. So before using sum, we have to declare it. It will tell the compiler that there is a variable sum with data type integer. So this is the syntax. You have to specify the data type of the variables, and if you have the list of variables, these would be separated by commas, and at the end of you have to write the semicolon. These are some of the examples. Assignment statements. In order to assign some value to the variables, we have to use these assignments. An assignment statement changes the value of a variable. You can see that total weight equal to 1 weight plus number of items. So this expression using the assignment operator, we have assigned these values to the total weight. So whatever the value contained in this variable, 1 weight and the number of items, these will be added together and will be assigned to the total weight. So total weight is set to the sum of 1 weight and the number of items. Assignment statements end with semicolon. You have to remember that, and it's the part of its syntax that you have to end it with this semicolon. Single variable be changed is always on the left of the assignment operator. So we are using here the assignment operator. Changes would be made on this side, on the left of this operator. So whatever the values over here on the right side, these are added together and have been assigned to the left of this operator, which is the total weight. On the right of the assignment operator, that is this one, it can be constants like age equal to 21. It can be the variables like my cost equal to your cost. So this variable have been assigned to my cost. So the value contained in this would be assigned to this variable. It can be expression on the right side of this operator like diameter multiplied by 3.14. Initializing variables. Declaring a variable does not give it a value. Giving a variable its first value is initialize the variable. So whenever we declare a variable, we don't we don't initialize that. Initialization is something we are going to giving a value to a variable for the first time. Variables are initialized in the assignment statement. Like you can see that double MPG. This is the variable declaration. And after the declaration, we are initializing the same variable. Like MPG is equal to 26.3. Here, this is the initialization of the variable. Initialization at the time of declaration. We can do the same thing at the time of declaration. Like we have declared the variable, and at the same time we are going to initialize the variable. So it's in the single statement. Now we are going to declare variables. Integer your underscore score. Another variable my underscore score. So we have declared two variables, your score and my score. Instead of doing it separately, we can also do it like in the same line, separated by comma. So let's come towards the initialization at the time of declaration. We can do here like your score equal to 2, and then I can do any arithmetics on that, like my score equal to your score plus 2. So this is the initialization at the time of declaration, and using the assignment operator, I'm going to assign the value stored in your score, which is 2, and plus 2, it becomes 4. 4 would be assigned to my score.